Welcome to another episode of The Fast Lane with Stevie Fast. Today we're going to talk about weather stations. Edobear 503, can you do a video on weather stations explaining how to read the information it gives you correctly and how it can be an important tuning tool to a successful race program? I'm a sportsman bracket racer that's looking into buying a weather station for next season. Just want to know your 2 cents. Best of luck on the 2019 season. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's get with it. We're here inside my race trailer, my office, my home away from home, and today we're going to talk about weather. Now, weather gets me excited. Good weather makes race car run good. Bad weather makes race car run slow. We run a Computech Systems Weather Pro. I think it's one of the easiest to use, most accurate systems out there. Now, this thing monitors and charts everything about weather that affects our race car. Most important to what I think is least important. Starting out with temperature, it's 49.3 degrees outside. We've got this thing running outside the trailer. It's got a unit that mounts up on top of the trailer to measure air away from generator air, methanol, race fumes. It's wintertime in Georgia, so it's cold. If it was this cold when we got to run, we'd set a world record. .9% humidity, 2978 on the barometer. We measure pressure altitude, standard correction factor, density altitude, which is, by the way, negative 251 right now. Now, what density altitude is it's just a calculation between temperature, humidity, and barometer to get you a number. Density altitude, basically, if you think about, that's the number that your race car thinks you're racing in below or above sea level. If you're in 10,000 feet, your engine thinks you're 10,000 feet up on a mountain. If you're right now negative 251 feet, your engine thinks that you're 251 feet, linear feet below sea level. That determines how much pressure the atmosphere is pushing into the engine. Air density ratio, water vapor, that's when you hear people talking about water grains. That's a calculation of how much water grains are in the air. Poor man's weather station. If you miss everything else I'm about to tell you, let me tell you how to run your car. If you're sweaty and sticky, you make no horsepower. If you're dry and cool and want to put a hoodie on, that thing is mean and powerful. Most of that is controlled by water grains. Performance altitude, vapor pressure, dry barometer, dew point temperature, and wet bulb. Basically, this thing will tell you when the dew point is. Like right now, we're 8 degrees away from dew point, and 8 degrees, the dew's gonna set in. Everything in this thing is important. Anything except for temperature, humidity, and barometer or a math calculation of those three. So that's kind of the three I stare at. Those three, the grains. A lot of NA racers use the correction factor. Blower car, it means a little less to us. Depending on your power adder, the weather will do different things to your car and to your engine. A turbo car is not sensitive at all or very little to barometer. They run on a boost controller. They make more boost than what they can use all the time. So if the barometer goes from 2978 to 2970, it doesn't affect them a lot. A supercharged, nitrous injected or NA car, it affects a lot. We lose static horsepower, we lose boost when the barometer goes down. When the barometer goes up, we make more. So barometer is very important. Water drains, everything affects engine differently. After a run, we come back to show you how important the weather is. There's a spreadsheet in our race pack that we use to keep track of everything that's in that weather station. Every run it's saved. You can auto data it straight from the Computech, straight into the race pack. This is the weather from the last run that we made in the finals of the World Street Nationals that we won with the Shadow. It was 73 degrees, 77.9% humidity, 2997 on the barometer. Barometer is good. Florida's sea level, most of it. DA's 1577 and the grains are 98. That's pretty good average air. If we could run in that all the time, we'd be pretty fast. A lot of times we see air in the 2,000 to 3,000 feet, 4,000 feet. The grains are a little high there, but that's hot rod, go fast weather. That's saved every single run. Also in our logbook, we chart it. We have spreadsheets for weather. Generally, when you want to talk about how important of a tool it is for a race program, if you don't know what the weather was at the last run that you made, there's no way you can accurately predict what's going to happen. You need to know how weather affects your specific combination. It's not across the board. It's your engine, your camshaft, your cylinder heads, your gearing. We have a spreadsheet where X amount of DA change necessitates X amount of fuel system and timing system change. Now what that may mean is when you go into the power management, you may need to adjust your donkey, your drop back down. If the air is killer, you may need to pull out another degree or degree and a half of timing. You also may have to control the rate in which you're running into it. On the fuel system side, you may have to upsize or downsize lean outs to make the engine more aggressive when the air is bad or less aggressive when the air is good. Our fuel system, this is a whole 10-hour another fast lane video, so I'm not going to dive into that. Basically, we use this, we input the weather, it calculates a fuel flow that I want, and gives me a main jet. That's a whole nother episode. If you're going to be a successful bracket racer, getting back to your question, keeping track of weather, what you need to do is over the course of a season, you'll chart weather for every run that you make. Bracket racing weather is more important than anything. You'll keep track of what that specific weather does to your car. That'll let you dial it up, dial it down, and give you a better handle on what it's going to run. In the heads-up world, weather is very important for us getting off the starting line. We have more power than we can use. When you see me stomping around up on the starting line, this thing sends page. I log weather every minute. I send it to my pager every 2 minutes. Now, all you kids don't know what this is. This is an actual beeper like we used to carry around in the 90s. So when you see me up there with this on my hip, I'm cool. I got a beeper and a beeper chain. I'm looking at the weather all the time. I have weather charted in here and what I think it's going to do. There's measures in the car that I have to take advantage of good air, make up for bad air. I make those decisions 2 pairs back, and there's also knobs and stuff in the car while the car is running I can adjust. A lot of times you'll get hung up, there'll be an oil down, you'll be sitting up there for a while, you'll have to make adjustments in the lanes. If you've got a blown alcohol car, you'll see these guys with a pager standing around looking at the weather. This is kind of a brief, skimmed over a lot of stuff on weather. Basically what we want is cold temperature, a lot of barometer, and no humidity. That's nirvana. When it's hot, there's no barometer, and it's wet, you're not making any horsepower. Chart your weather, pay attention, get you a logbook, write it down every single run, put it in your race pack. I know it's easy when you download that race pack. You just got back from a run. You want to download that thing and look at the run and see if anything happened. Take 2 minutes every single time, put your increments in, put your weather in. At the end of the season, it'll make you or break you. When you're eating your Thanksgiving turkey and you're done racing, open that thing up and look through the weather. Look at your time slips. You'll see a trend. You'll see what it does. You'll know experienced racers are good meteorologists. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Fast Lane with Stevie Fast. If you would like us to address a comment or concern that you have, subscribe to our YouTube channel, drop us a comment. Also, we have a limited time promotion going on. Go to Computech.com, get 5% off a weather station and free shipping with discount code StevieFast1.